What's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes of an educational experience that I got to be a part of with Travis Parker Academy. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about why it's so important that you should be taking in-person education too. So let's go. So I just got down to Solana Beach, which is basically like North San Diego County, and I just pulled up to the salon. I'm really excited, but also kind of nervous because this is something that's like way out of my comfort zone. You guys know that I specialize in color and that is like my jam, and business and Instagram and social media. But cutting is something that I struggle with, and it's not something that has come super natural to me as a stylist throughout the years, which is why you don't see a lot of cutting videos on my channel, just being totally transparent. So I'm excited, I'm a little nervous, but I think it's gonna be really cool, and I'm excited to share with you guys a little behind the scenes of this class and just to kind of talk about education in today's videos. So let's go.
Fringes, and so shorter fringes can be really hard on the face. So in a sense of artistry, if somebody's got the expression top to bottom, and this is one more adornment of the total style, great.
Yeah, step back always and give space to see it.
So I'm back home. I got home really late last night, and my intention was to film this video yesterday, but I literally got home at 10 o'clock at night because the class was supposed to end at 5:30, and we ended up being there until like 8:30 at night just because there was so many awesome conversations. And one of the things that was really cool was what Travis said at the very end. He was like, you guys still wanted your hands and hair, and you wanted to finish off your doll heads. And like I said, we were supposed to end super early, and we ended up not. So here I am today filming this. It is the next day, but I just wanted to share a little bit of not only my experience with in-person education, but to share why you guys should be taking in-person education. It is so important, especially if you want to grow your career as a stylist. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys about 3 different reasons of why you should take in-person education. And the first reason is there is nothing like being in a room with other like-minded people and feeling the energy and learning alongside them. So obviously this particular group of people was special. Real quick, let me just name off everybody who was there. So it was hosted by Travis Parker. If you guys want to check him out, Travis Parker Hair on Instagram. And then he had 2 co-educators, Jude Viola and Jeremy Taylor Hair, who facilitated the class. I highly recommend you guys check them out on Instagram. I tagged them on my stories, but go ahead and check them out, Jude Viola and Jeremy Taylor Hair. Then we also had the brilliant Buddy Porter. If you guys don't already follow him on Instagram, please go check out his work. It's amazing. Buddy Porter on Instagram. We also had the incredible Andrew Does Hair, who is a good personal friend of mine, so I already knew him, but it was really cool to watch him learn alongside of me as well. Andrew Does Hair on Instagram. We also had the amazing Andrew Carruthers, who is Sam Via's main hair cutter educator on Sam Via's team. So check out his Instagram. It's Andrew Carruthers, I think is how you say his last name. And then we also had Made in Color, Raina. She's so sweet. She's one of my favorite people to be around. Such amazing energy. Made in Color on Instagram. And last but not least, I highly recommend checking out Travis Parker Academy on Instagram. That is the academy that Travis himself has created, this methodology behind his incredible cutting. Like I said, it's a methodology that he created. And so if you're looking for amazing hair cutting education, I highly recommend checking out Travis Parker Academy on Instagram and reaching out to them. I think at this point of recording, when you guys are watching this video, all of the classes are sold out. But you definitely want to get on the wait list because they are creating more classes and adding more dates in 2020. And the first people who are gonna get dibs is the waitlist people. So if you guys are interested, make sure to get on the waitlist. And one thing I wanna mention is I am not being paid at all to create this video, to talk about it. I truly think that this was such a valuable education experience for myself that I want you to experience it too. And if you struggle with haircutting at any point like I did, and I'm gonna talk about that this is an incredible experience that I highly, highly, highly recommend looking into and investing in. So Travis Parker Academy on Instagram. I'm sure they have a website too. Go feel free to reach out to them. Again, not sponsored, but something that I truly feel like would benefit you if you're wanting to learn more in the cutting methodology. Okay, so back to my point of what I was saying. Obviously, this room was filled with incredible stylists and educators alike, and I honestly felt so honored and almost felt a little intimidated being in a group of such incredible human beings, but also stylists and educators. And I honestly felt like I was not worthy to be in the room with these people. But one of the reasons of why you should take online education, regardless of who is in the room, it's just incredible to see so many like-minded people coming together to learn a specific technique or learn from a specific person. And not only are you there to learn from the educator, absolutely you're there to learn from them, but you're also there to learn from each other. And obviously this class was unique in that way, but anytime I've gone to an in-person class, I have picked up things from other people in the room. Maybe it's a question that somebody asked and I was like, oh my gosh, I had a light bulb moment go off. Or maybe it was just the way that somebody said something. I'm like, wow, I never thought of it that way. It could also be you're standing next to somebody and you see them section hair a different way or do something different than the way that you do it, and you're like, wait a minute, I've never seen that done before. And so a lot of times you're not just there to learn from the educator. Obviously that's the point of going to the class, but you're also there to learn from everybody else as a collective and really to pick up things from the other people who you're standing next to or sitting near or just in the room with. And I can absolutely say that I learned so much from not just the people facilitating the class, but absolutely from the people I was standing next to or in the room with. There were so many things where someone would ask a question in a way, or like I said, say something differently or offer their thoughts. And man, I had so many aha moments and just light bulbs going off just based on the people that were around me. Reason number 2 of why you should take in-person education is I think online education is amazing. Obviously, it's what I specialize in. It's all I do at this moment. Either you're watching this on YouTube, or maybe you've taken my online course, Oh Hot Gram, or have even just learned from me through my Instagram. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of online education, and I feel like you should be investing in that. But also you should be investing in in-person education as well. They're equally as important. And so often I think we get stuck in our ways, or we think I'm too busy, or I don't have enough money for that, or it's too expensive, or I don't have the time to travel, or whatever. And so we skip a lot of in-person education and we rely on free education through YouTube, which again, I don't think is a problem, but you definitely want to make sure that you are reinvesting back into your career and going out of your way to really get that solid, deep in-person education as well as deeper online education too. You shouldn't be relying on just solely free education because you're missing out on so much. Like I've mentioned, what I was saying in the first point was you're there with people and getting the different energies and watching other people grow alongside of you while you're growing. One of the other really cool things I think about in-person education is so often when we're working alone or we're only taking in online education, it can feel like we're so alone in so many different things and that we're the only one that struggles with something, or we're the only one that maybe has a frustration in a certain area, or we're the only one that's not good at one thing or another. And when you go to in-person education, you realize that you're not the only one that sucks at something, or you're not the only one that struggles with something. That's a great thing is being at this class. I mean, I was amongst incredible artists and educators, and we all had something that we were self-conscious of or struggled with or had never done before. So for instance, Andrew does hair. You guys probably follow him on Instagram. He's an amazing hair cutter. He had never once in his life used a curling iron. Like, how incredible is that? And through this weekend, he was able to use a curling iron. He styled hair with a flat iron. He actually curled hair, which to him was something completely foreign. And even though you might see him as, you know, at this place in his career or at this level, he had never done something like that. Another example was Buddy Porter had never once used a razor, and myself included. I've used a razor here and there, but not a lot. And so you look up to somebody like Buddy Porter, who's incredible on Instagram, works in Beverly Hills, is working on celebrity clients, flying all over the place for his private clients, and yet he had never done something that I had done, or, you know, there were certain things where he felt uncomfortable and felt insecure in certain things. And we all had moments like that throughout this weekend. And so even though you had a room, like I said, of incredible people, we still struggled with stuff. And so that's what's important about being in a in-person class, is that you're able to see that you're not the only one that struggles. You're not the only one that is bad at something or has insecurities about something. That chances are pretty much everybody else in the room is in the same place as you, and it makes you feel less insecure because you can kind of come together in solidarity and say, hey, I struggle with that too. So in-person education really helps you get out of your own head of the things that you might struggle with, and really helps you just kind of see it from a different perspective. And the third reason of why you should take in-person classes is because you should be investing in education in areas that you maybe feel weak or not as strong in. Now, I know sometimes it's really tempting to see a class or see an educator and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel really strong in balayage or highlights or whatever. And so you're like, I just want to make that better because that sounds fun to me, right? I'm already good at it. I just want to get better. But what about that area that you're not so strong in? So for me, I had always invested in color education because it was something that I liked to do. I was really good at it, and I just wanted to, quote unquote, get better. But I never really invested in cutting education because to me, it was something that I wasn't good at or I didn't feel as strong at, and so therefore I didn't enjoy it as much, which is total BS. I actually do enjoy cutting education. I had just never taken the time to invest in myself in that way. And to be honest, it probably was because I was a little insecure. I felt vulnerable in that area. I felt self-conscious that my hair cutting skills weren't up to par the way that my coloring skills I felt were. And so I chose to not invest in certain education when I probably should have, because that was the area that I was weaker in. And so when you're looking at your education calendar, I just want you to think of, okay, what are some things that, yes, I could get better in, I could grow in. Maybe you specialize in something and you want to get better at it. Totally awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. There could even be different educators that you want to see, or different perspectives on a certain thing. That's totally fine. But I also want you to think of, what are areas that I'm weak in or not as strong in, or that I feel a little insecure in? Is there education that I can pour a little bit more time and energy into? So for instance, that for me was cutting education. And that's why I was so honored to be invited to this class. I got invited to it, but after being at this class, there's hands down no way that I would ever turn down something like this. In fact, I would absolutely invest in it myself because it's totally an area that I feel like I could grow in so much more. And this weekend really showed me that my insecurity, or the thing that I felt not very good at, was the thing that actually could make me so much stronger as an educator, as a stylist, and just really get me out of my comfort zone. And I felt so much growth in that this weekend. Whereas before, I might not have felt as much growth because I was already learning something that I felt pretty good at to begin with. So I want you guys to know that growth absolutely comes from getting out of your comfort zone and trying something that feels uncomfortable, that feels awkward, that feels weird. I mean, there were so many times this weekend that I was trying things that I was like, I feel so awkward. I don't even know what to do with my hands, or how to move the shears, or how to use the razor. There were, like, pretty much the whole weekend I felt that way. But that's when I actually saw massive growth in myself, not only as a student, but also as an educator and as a stylist. And so there's something really valuable in that. And I, for one, will say that all of us in the room at the very beginning of this weekend were so nervous. And again, it's weird to think of because you might look up to someone like me. You might look up to somebody else that I mentioned off that was there at the class, and you might think, oh, they have it all together. They don't mess up on their clients. They've got it perfect. They're at this level of success. And this was a thing that kept coming up over and over throughout the weekend, that we are just like you. We're human beings who have insecurities, who struggle with things, who are maybe feeling vulnerable in a certain area or don't feel like we have it all together. And as a stylist, that's how you feel too. We feel the same way. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know that so often it can be easy to look up to a certain educator or look up to somebody on Instagram and think they obviously have it all together. They never mess up. They don't feel insecure. And we do. We all feel insecure in our own ways. And we were all nervous walking into this class of like what to expect, are people gonna judge my skills? And I know I was for sure one of the people that was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm not a good hair cutter. And by the end of the weekend, we all felt so comfortable. So much growth had happened because we were willing to show up, being vulnerable, trying out things that were outside of our comfort zone, and really being okay with those insecurities that we had come up. And there was so much growth that happened there. So as we wrap up this video, I just want to say that if you haven't invested in some in-person classes or in-person education in a while, that I highly recommend you do so. So whether that means you need to save up a little bit of money, or whether that means you immediately after this video, you feel called to just book a class, do it. I highly recommend getting some in-person education versus just online education. And another thing is, if you haven't taken any education at all, maybe it's just been all free education through YouTube and stuff, which again, I don't have a problem with, but I want you investing in your career. So maybe you're not at a place where you can take some in-person education, or there's things that aren't near you. That's totally fine too. Invest in some deeper online education as well. Both, like I said, are equally important, and I'll probably do a whole another video on online education and why that's important. But at the moment right now, I just want you to say that if you haven't invested in your career in the last 3 months, you need to do so. And that's my tough coach Jamie moment, saying you gotta do this for you. And so I hope that this video got you excited, got you inspired a little bit to invest in your career and invest in some really good educations for the reasons that I laid out. So I just wanna say thank you so much for watching this video. One thing that I will have you do, if you have taken an amazing in-person education or online education in the last year, please go ahead and comment under this video sharing what it is. I think that this could be a great resources for people looking for online or in-person education. So if you've taken some amazing education in the last year, go ahead and share below what that is, who you took it by, and maybe why you loved it so much. Because again, I think that this could be just an awesome resource, and I can't wait to hear and maybe take some of those classes that you took too. As always, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, or if this is our first video hanging out, hit that subscribe button below, because I do lots of cool videos like this and you're not gonna wanna miss out. I have a really exciting video coming up next week, and it's gonna be directly for you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button below because it's awesome and you're not gonna wanna miss it. And last but not least, if you haven't already said hi on Instagram, head over to Instagram at my profile linked down below. It's a little bit different than what I've done before. So if you like this video, go ahead and send me a DM letting me know that you liked it, that you watched it, and anything else that you would like to see me do. As always, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.